The Ant and the Pigeon. In the green countryside of England, where rolling hills met quiet rivers, lived a tiny ant named Arthur. He was small, even for an ant, but very hardworking. Every day, Arthur marched with his colony, carrying crumbs, twigs, and seeds back to their nest beneath an old stone wall. Nearby, in the tall branches of an oak tree, lived a gentle pigeon named Penny. She loved to sit on the highest branch, watching the sunrise spread over the meadows. While Arthur spent his days busy on the ground, Penny spent hers soaring in the skies, yet both admired the other from afar. Arthur often thought, "How free she looks, gliding in the air." And Penny thought, "How determined he is, carrying so much though he is so small." They never spoke, but they noticed each other's work. One summer morning, Arthur was searching for food near the edge of the river. The grass was slippery with dew, and he leaned too far over while trying to lift a crumb twice his size. Suddenly, he slipped and fell into the water. The river's current was gentle to a bird, but for a tiny ant, it was like a roaring flood. Arthur kicked and splashed desperately. "Help! Help!" he cried, though no one could hear such a small voice. Just then, Penny the pigeon, perched on her branch, saw Arthur struggling. Her heart stirred with compassion. Without wasting a moment, she plucked a broad leaf from the oak tree, carried it in her beak, and dropped it onto the water. The leaf floated like a raft. Arthur scrambled onto it, coughing and gasping, but safe. He looked up at Penny and shouted with all the strength his tiny lungs could manage. "Thank you. You've saved my life," Penny cooed softly. "Even the smallest life matters." And with that, she flew back to her branch. Arthur never forgot her kindness. Weeks later, as summer ripened into autumn, Arthur was again near the river, collecting seeds blown by the wind. As he carried one back to the nest, he noticed a hunter hiding in the bushes. The man held a bow, and his eyes were fixed on Penny, who was resting on a low branch near the water. Arthur froze. "He's going to shoot her," he thought in panic. He knew he had to do something. But what could a tiny ant do against a grown man? Then, with determination, Arthur raced toward the hunter's boot. Without hesitation, he sank his tiny jaws into the man's ankle. "Ouch!" the hunter yelped, stomping his foot. The sudden pain made him lose his aim, and the arrow flew wide, startling Penny, who quickly spread her wings and soared into the safety of the sky. From above, Penny looked down and saw Arthur waving his tiny legs. She understood. He had saved her life, just as she had saved his. A friendship remembered. That evening, as the sun set over the English fields, Penny circled above the meadow and cooed softly. "Arthur, today you reminded me. No act of kindness is ever wasted." Arthur bowed his little head proudly. "And no creature, no matter how small, is powerless to help." Though they lived in different worlds, one in the sky and one on the ground, the ant and the pigeon carried each other's kindness in their hearts forever. Moral of the story: kindness creates bonds that last forever. No matter how small or big you are, your good deeds can make a difference, and one day, that kindness may come back to save you.